the guy that goes, "You killed your father." No, it's that not the right one. Have I not bought the right one?
No, that's Harry Potter. That one.
Oh,
Don't be stupid. It's Spider-Man. Come on.
it was on Amazon, and I thought it was. You killed your father.
No, that's Bane.
That's why it was cheap, Ted.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tried, guys. Honestly, I'm trying to fit in, but
You had one simple task.
oh,
You
that's
accidentally,
Everybody in the world now.
you accidentally managed to fit yourself into the video game scene. I like that.
He's the one that says, "Beam me up."
I'm just trying to fit in. That's all. I'm trying to get into this sci-fi thing. Whatever.
To go and get me a little tiny violin now.
Right.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, all. Welcome to Monday Night Live Stream with Ted, Foxx, Chris, and hang on a minute. They're not there. Where have they gone? I can hear them, but they're not there. Never mind. Oh, well, we'll see. But it's hot. It's as they say on Good Morning Vietnam. It's hot. It's damned hot. Hotter than a stick's belly in a wheel rut.
What, did he say it with like a Barrow accent and everything?
Yeah, they do.
Hello, welcome to Vietnam.
Welcome to Vietnam. It's hot, damned hot.
Warm.
I'll get building shit, lad. Go on.
Right. Yeah. So you may have noticed tonight things are going to be a little bit different because we're getting to the end of lockdown and none of us have had a haircut. And so we're just going to do some buildy things where you can just have a look at the bench and you can ask questions about our ongoing eModels builds and things like that. And
Well, talk about food instead, but you can still ask.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see us actually take part in doing some of the live eModels building for a change.
Wait, I've got to do something live. Oh, damn.
Yeah, so that means that you might see Foxx glue more than one thing together.
Nah. I can't see that happening, Ted. Can you?
We're not streaming for that long.
Steady, Maris. Steady.
Yeah. So anyway, we are all here. I promise. It's not just me, but the rest of us. But tonight you'll just see Hans, the magic Hans.
Yeah. No, don't forget, of course, as always, folks, this is, as always, one thing that hasn't changed. It is your show. It's your show, and we all have the chat in front of us. It's all about hanging out in the chat with your mates. So if you want to join in, please do come and join the live chat. If you're watching this on a mobile device, the chat might be underneath the screen.
I've left Ted full screen. I think he should do the whole voice movements and
okay,
and
yeah,
line along to
you
your...
animate to my voice, Ted. So yeah, don't forget that if you're on a mobile device, the chat might be underneath the video. Or if you can't find it at all, then go to desktop mode. Or if you want to, you can click on the YouTube icon in the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, that's the one. The bottom right-hand corner, or behind Ted, as it's also known. And that will take you to the YouTube link where you can join in the live chat. And you should join in the live chat because we're all nice and friendly and it's a great little community. If you want to get our attention, we've all got the chat in front of us. You want to get our attention in two ways. You can either put your comment, put the whole comment in all fat capital letters, or as Ted calls it, bold. Well, that blew my eardrum out. Ted will now be really quiet on that because his microphone's exploded. Yeah, you can put your comments in bold or capitals. Or if you want to, you can do a super chat, which is the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. That puts your comment in a coloured box. Thank you, Ted. It puts your comment in a coloured box at the bottom of the screen, and that means we can't possibly miss your comment. But there you go. That's my rules and terms and conditions and that. And I'm sweating like a pig.
Edward Leonard's asking, does that mean Foxx is going to denub more than one piece?
Steady now. Steady. Don't go too far with it.
Ian Thompson said it's 6 o'clock. And what does the O stand for? Oh my God, it's early.
Yeah, what possibly could go wrong in tonight's stream, eh?
All the things.
Oh God, what's that over the horizon? Oh God, it's Hanoi. Well,
what's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster?
Yeah.
Music reference.
Yeah, we can see all the quotes from Good Morning Vietnam coming out now. So it's good evening, eModels.
What do you want? I'm from artillery. What do you want me to play? I don't care. Just play it loud. I can't do it loud because it'll break my microphone.
Right, I think after Fox's terms and conditions, I think we should go over now to Festa's factoid, and in the meantime, I'm with my camera so you can see what I'm doing on the bench.
Oh, this is so that I can do it really quick now, then, just to mess you up, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's Festa's factoid. Back
And
to
done. Yep.
Yeah, that's that all sorted. Today in 1752, Ben Franklin's kite flying experiment proved lightning and electricity were related while flying a kite with a key attached. In September 1752, he equipped his house with a lightning rod, connecting it to bells that ring when the rod is electrified. It explained how to perform a kite experiment in the October 1752 issue of Pennsylvania Gazette. I suppose on this day in 1752 he died, did he? Should we do a death of the week, folks?
There's no death of the week.
Yeah, there's a death of the week, mate. Oh, yeah.
Death of the week. Death of the week. Death of the week.
I would say I've taken off my hat, but I ain't wearing it.
No, it's far too warm for that.
Right, I'm going to have a go at this one, so beware,
dear.
folks. On this day, Jean Francoise Pilatari de Rosier
Oh, dear Lord.
died in 1785 at the age of 31.
He just died again about 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, he was a French physicist and aeronaut who, with Marcus Francois Laurent de Arlandis, became the first
You have to keep going because Ted's not ready yet.
Yeah, keep going.
Cheers, Ted. They're hot air balloon built by the Montgolfier brothers,
Oh, you got that one right.
lifted off from Lulu,
Yeah, that went right.
a royal palace in the Bois de Boulogne, Paris. 6 miles in 25 minutes, reaching an altitude of 300 foot.
I thought this was death of the week. We're doing
Oh,
facts of the
mate,
week.
I'm reading because I haven't seen Ted pop up yet, and I don't know what he's done yet.
Part 2 of the biography of the Montgolfier brothers.
Oh,
Yeah,
mate.
just read your death very slowly.
It was seen by King Louis the 15th, 16th, is that? Who offered to send 2 prisoners for the test flight, but they said they didn't want to deny it, or they wanted to deny criminals the glory of being the first men to fly. So that's that one. We got another death because I don't know whether he's done yet.
But he's still moving his camera around, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm going for an easy one. On this day in 1907, at the age of 74, William LeBaron Jenney, an American civil engineer, dropped dead.
Drop dead. That's so delicate of you.
His innovations were of primary importance in the development of the skyscraper. So there you go.
Can't read that, Ted.
He was the first bloke to use a metal skeleton to support the internal structures of a skyscraper.
Can you imagine Colin working for the police having to go and do a death notice? Give someone a death notice.
Mate, oh.
I think you should sit down, Mrs. Smith. What is it? What's your husband? Is your husband John Smith? Yeah, well, he's dropped dead, innit?
Yeah, he's dropped dead, love, isn't he?
He's got a
All
breath.
right, Ted, stop moving. I think it says ready. I can't. The paper keeps whiting out, but I'm gonna put it back on the multiple screen. So, welcome to the new layout for tonight's stream.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
If you're wondering why we've done this, it's because it is approximately 1 billion degrees in all our houses. And it's humid and hot and sweaty, and we're no way presentable in this. We can't be wearing hats and things, so we thought we'd go for a desktop shot. It's a bit easier for us because we can have windows open and stuff. So.
In fact, it was purely by a slip of the camera before that we found out that Foxx doesn't have any clothes on at all.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm now trying to find the eye bleach.
Yeah, I looked twice. I thought someone had sent me a gorillagram.
So
I can't help being half Scottish and half Irish. It makes me paladin confused. Yeah, so we thought we'd try this today because we're doing it this way, we can get some work done because we're all doing eModels builds, don't forget. And also, we can have less lights on, so it's a little easier on us because it's so warm today.
Yeah. I've just turned the lights out because I found it was doing this to the sprues. Yeah. Anyway, it's up to you guys. You can ask us the questions tonight on our particular models, or you can ask us about anything. Or as usual, we'll just go with the flow. It's up to you guys to lead us where you want to take us with your conversation.
Yeah. Who have you got in chat then, Chris?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
I'll have a look. Hang about. Let me get comfy and move me mouse around and things. I'll leave it on the same camera because there's no point in just showing my hands while I'm doing this. The first one I have in chat, because I was a bit slow opening up chat today, is Colin at Festa 67's workshop.
Mouth words.
So I'm sure he's not in chat anymore and hasn't been since we went live because we would have noticed.
Yep.
We've got Model Making Mayhem, Sarah Jane, Quano Man, Sergeant Bones, Graham is here, as is Dad at Scaling Models, one of your mods for this evening. Mayhem, Dexterous Crafter, Mayhem Crafter, Graham, Sarah Jane, Mark, Ickle Pete, Zadster, Red Lynn, Model Making Guru, but I'm sure he's gone again by now as well, he wouldn't be there.
Must check my focus actually because I adjusted it a minute ago.
Oh, Zadster, Mayhem, Quano Man, me, Zadster, Steve, Zadster, Spid, Sergeant Bones again, Matty's Metal Detecting South Wales, who of course we don't know anything about at all.
You don't know his name, where he works, or what he does?
Nope, no clue. Nope. Anything, could be anything.
Yeah. Could be a veterinarian for all we know.
Ickle Pete, Sergeant Bones, Zadster, Spid it. Eric Graham's here, as is everybody that I've already said is still here.
I thought you were about to say, as is everybody else next.
No, I haven't got to the everybody else bit yet. I'm sort of halfway through. We have Ian Thompson, Andrew Preston, Brian Windmill, Model Making Trucker, Festa 67's Workshop, but I don't know if we were live yet then. I can't remember.
I think we weren't live. I think he's behaved himself.
You think? Oh no, because I've just found the one where a Model Making Guru says last minute finger words.
Oh yeah.
So... Oh good. Yeah, oh good. I found out where you're up to.
We have Jamie Bone just above that. Primetime Modelling, Model Making Haggis. Paul Lyons, Anders, Gemma is here as well. Swigging Pig, Michael Jackerman, Emma Jane Young, Colin Walker, Joseph Kelly, Lee Barrett, AJ. Nevbo is here, another one of your mods. Welcome, Nevbo.
Yeah,
Edward, Ian, Mayhem, Zadster, Edward, Mayhem, George, Paul, Mayhem.
Ringo, Paul, John, Ringo. Wait, what?
Mr. Loth is here as well. Vincent, another one of your mods. We have mods tonight. They're all being well catered for and well looked after.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else have we got there? Me, them, there. Eric mentions me. He says, everyone enter a comment so Gross Models gets really confused while reading everyone's name. Thank you very much for all the assistance. Stephen Last. I've read that. Wayne, I don't think I've read it out yet. Retro Rabbit Studios says, hello, afternoon from Canada.
Ooh, welcome, Retro Rabbit. I don't think we've had you in one of our chats before.
Ross Redlock, Shadowland Scale Models says, who's building the ICM? Is that me? That's that one.
Yes,
yes, it's made by ICM. It's the Benz Patent Motor Wagon 1886. I haven't started building it yet, but yeah, I've done an unboxing video, which is on the eModels channel, and now I'm going to start cutting some bits off the sprue.
Yay!
One day Chris will find the participants option in the menu top right. I have, but it doesn't list everybody.
No,
I've used that before, but it doesn't work properly.
Yeah.
No. Sarah Jane Mayhem, George Taylor, Michael Jackerman, Dave Cardboard, James Chapman, Dexter Crafter, Paul Lyons, James Chapman, Ian MG Thompson, Retro Rabbit Studios, and Retro Rabbit Studios.
Relating
says,
to
I was in the last trivia night, says Retro Rabbit Studios. I know I've seen you around before, but yes.
A quick public service announcement for people in chat, by the way. If you need to send a comment, if you need to add a comment to me, or anybody else whose name starts with Model Making in chat, please just make sure you select the right person because there's like six of us now. and I keep atting myself every time I respond to some chat.
So next week it will be model making Ted, model making Chris, and model
Yep.
making Colin.
Yeah.
Model making, model maker.
I also see a note there from Nat as well. She said, "Is Tony coming back with his face at the bottom for the rest of us to see?" Yeah, you may notice that there's a little overlay, and it includes
It's
Tony.
Fox's fault.
Yeah, it's Fox's fault because he sent Chris the wrong one.
Well, it's because Chris decided at the very last minute to use the software we're using now, and I was like, I've got to make an overlay, and then I kind of rushed it, and then I forgot to take Tony out. So you get a free bit of bonus, Tony.
Yeah, so Tony, I did message Tony and say we need him. His overlays going live. He's going to join us, but since he moved house, his camera's still in the box. But he does send his wishes and his best regards and his best wave.
However, also we decided not to have Tony because 4 people makes a nice layout. 5 people messes that up right royally.
Yeah.
Before we go anywhere,
Tony works for the NHS, so he's uber busy.
Yeah. Before we crack on, I need to very quickly show the audience something. If you may click on me for a second, Chris.
Oh, I can do anything about it.
As I come across
turn around and get the mouse.
As I come across interesting bits on this Falcon build, I like to show it to people. If you know the Millennium Falcon, you know that all the add-on stick-on greebles on the filming model were from various Tamiya kits. And here's an example of one. It's a bit of a stick-on detail that's going to go on the surface of the ship. But it's a perfect reproduction in tiny scale of the mantlet of some tank or other. Perhaps a German tank or perhaps a Churchill tank, I'm not sure. But you can, by looking at it, you can see on the real studio model, they would have just taken the mantlet. I think it's called the mantlet. From a 135th Tamiya tank kit and stuck that on the surface of the Falcon. So there you go. Just wanted to show you that very quick little component.
While we're on you, should we do what are we doing today? Because some people might not be aware of what we're building.
Okay. Do you want me to do mine then, seeing as you're on?
Well, we're still on you, so you may as well.
Let me put my little bits in a container then. I am working on... Hang on, let me just put them in there, otherwise I'll lose them. We're all working on our eModels builds. You all remember that we all film builds for eModels. I am currently working on mine, which is the Bandai Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon. Sorry, pronounce it. Millennium. I'm working on that, which I started a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Who's dragging metal plates around in my ear? I can hear shushing noises.
I'm spraying, ain't I?
Oh, I wonder what it was. I'm thinking, am I going weird?
That's what I mean. Sorry, dude. I did say before we went live, I got the airbrush out.
Yeah, Colin's spraying. Leave him alone.
Yep.
As long as you clean it up afterwards. Yes, so I started this a few weeks ago, and I filmed the first couple of episodes. And over the last couple of weeks, I've been live streaming, doing the building box. I'm going to get it all built first, most of it, into sub-assemblies, and then I'll crack on with the painting. The painting will be filmed properly, but while I'm just doing the building bits, I'm doing live streams on the eModels channel. Because there's no point filming the build. It's very boring if I just do like 6 hours of gluing things on. So yes, I'm working on Falcon. I'm working on my second mandible because I've done one mandible already. One mandible is never enough, of course. So
It's bi-mandibuled.
It's got bimandible. Yes. The detail on this thing is absolutely beautiful. There's like 1,000 parts on that one, and that's just one mandible. So, yeah. And unfortunately, I decided to do this tonight, and that means I'm going to be doing lots of little fiddly tubes. So I've got to try not to swear.
Yay.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what I'm working on.
Right. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm doing this week. This week, I am mostly building the Hitachi Zaxxas 135 US digger. It's been
because Ted's that good. He's actually doing 2 eModels builds at once.
Yeah,
the build that Ted never actually got round to finishing, isn't it, Ted?
It's been a little while since I've managed to have a go at this because of the heat up here. It's just been horrendous, and I've had lots of other things to do outdoors as well while the weather's been so good. So it's a bit of a
Titanic. Let's just be honest.
It's just a bit of a chance just to catch up on this again. Oh, I'll just snap that off. I should let it dry first.
Oh.
So I've done the arm and I've done the driver's cab, and I'm just hoping that I can get some pieces cut off the sprue, and I can make a start on building the shovel and the base, or the tracks and things like that. So I shall do my best to keep you entertained tonight. by
Snapping things and breaking things.
cutting things off the sprue and not gluing them together properly like that bit is now. I'll move that bit now for the next till the glue dries. So that's what I'm going to do. The Titanic is underway. Did you see what I did there?
Yeah, I saw that.
Never mind. Yeah, the Titanic is underway. I've done some spraying. I've done some masking of the hull and things like that. So I am in the process of filming that, and hopefully it shouldn't be too long before it gets out. It's just a matter of waiting for everything to cool.
Colin's still spraying, so I'm nipping
that's
next.
Right, mate.
That's all right. I'll do mine bit, then you can do yours at the end. That'd be easier way. I'm doing the Ben's Patent Motor Wagon 1886, which Vincent does say is random fact of the day. There's a guy in Germany who still drives a patent wagon on a regular basis in his hometown on public roads. The vehicle is fully registered.
What kind of Gundam is that?
Eh?
What kind of Gundam is that?
Yes, it's one with wheels. It is the first mass-produced motor car, as far as I'm aware. Now the kit is 1/24th scale, so it's a bit bigger than I normally deal with. But it does come with a nice replica of the patent paper, which is quite fun. How to operate it, it sort of steers with that and accelerates with that, as far as I can tell. But there we go. Now, I haven't started the build yet as such. There is one video, as I said, available of it, just the unboxing, looking at it. So I'm going to start with instruction 01 and basically just get some bits cut off the sprues, tidied up, glued together, and we'll see what happens, how far through I get. So yeah, that's mine. Colin is next up, if he's able to talk.
Yeah, I'm currently doing my ball tank that I've been building for eModels. I've done the red interior section and the tyre, built that. I've now popped them apart so that I can weather this. And then you may have heard I'm just putting down the base coat of green that is going to be underneath the white top coat, but I'm going to chip it and weather it in and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just putting down the initial interior green, exterior green, and then I shall go over that with the final coat of white. So all the little bits and bobs are getting sprayed. So I've got nothing to glue together. That's the thing. And I thought I can't stretch out an hour and a half, painting a door. So.
Well, you'd be surprised what we can stretch out to.
In my life, I build one thing in the
I shall put us back on the four-way split screen. So if anybody needs to see anything in more detail, give us a shout.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to switch around and do things. But other than that, you can see all of us in all of our glory.
I can mute me mic if my spraying is distracting people. It's not an issue.
Yeah, you must excuse us as well, because while we're really concentrating on building and gluing things together and cutting things off sprues and things like that, it tends to distract us a little bit from the chat. So one of us will try and monitor the chat whilst another one does it. So if you do make a comment and we miss it, we do apologise. We do apologise.
Have you just said sorry, not sorry there, Ted?
Yeah, we do apologise, but just put it in capitals, in bold, so we can see.
What I'll do, Ted, is when I finish painting, I'll let you know, and I'll keep an eye on the chat for you, folks. It's not a problem.
Okay. Do you want to be? Are you going to be the chat dolly?
Yeah. I'll just finish painting this, and then I'll keep an eye on the chat and keep the viewers part of the show for you.
And also because the way that my camera boom is mounted, I can't see the screen without actually looking over the top or underneath.
No, that's not a problem, mate. I'll sort that out in a sec, lads. Right. About 5 minutes, yeah.
Well, I'll have a quick whiz through the chat then while Colin's doing that, because I've the least time I can spend trying to cut and trim very delicate fiddly bits on camera, the better. Because I can't swear. We're on Channel 4, live on Channel 4. I shall randomly pick a place in the chat. Yes, if you do want to ask us questions, please put your whole sentence, a whole comment in capital letters, or use the super chat button. Otherwise, we might miss it. Model Making Mayhem says, ball tank mandible digger proto car. Seems about right.
Yep.
Let's have a look. What else are people saying?
It's a bit like going back to the old days, isn't it, when we used to build things on model making.
So I've got some help. I've got Guthorm here to help me with the chat, so Guthorm can keep an eye on the chat for us as well.
Well, I didn't mention that in this kit as well, there is this lovely little packet which has got some beautiful photo etch in it of spokes, which Foxx will love when I do them.
Oh God, no! If you've ever watched, well, if you haven't had a chance, make sure to go and watch Chris building that big the Africa Twin Yamaha. It's on eModels channel. It's the one. What was it? 1/9 scale.
1/6.
1/6, and he was putting the spokes in the wheels. I don't know bikes, so I assume they're wheels and spokes. He was putting the spokes into the wheels, and he was bending these. And I'm like, oh, I can't watch. Somebody's gonna. It's like me doing these little tiny tubes and pipes. It's just stressful to watch. He didn't snap anything. Very bless him. Let's have a look. Is that the original Reliant Robin, Chris? Asks Cynical Steve.
Quite possibly, yes. I think it's a combination of like the sort of Reliant Robin and like a bath chair and a penny farthing.
Why was a bath chair called a bath chair?
Because it's a bath chair.
Well, why? You didn't go into a bath with it.
Not. It's not a bath chair. It's a bath chair.
It's a bath chair.
No, bath chair.
It's a bath. You don't get it. Yeah,
You used to get
Colin, help, Colin.
yeah, you used to get tin baths on wheels. My granddad had one, and it was a bath chair, mate. A little free-wheel.
See,
thing like Christmas
they're
motor.
using funny northern words at me again.
Yeah, it's called a
So
bath
is
chair,
it
mate.
called a bath chair because it looked like a tin bath?
It was a tin bath on a frame similar to Chris's car, and you wheeled it round like a wheelchair, mate.
Yeah, I'm still not sure what you mean by a bath.
Yeah,
It's a
I
bath.
remember
It's
as
the
a
thing
kid,
that you put water in, and
If you
it saves you having to do it all outside in the grass.
You mean a bath?
I can remember my granddad wheeling himself in their lounge in his bloody tin bath chair, and it cracked me up as a kid. It was like happy days.
As far as I'm concerned, bath is something you do after like 12 pints and a kebab. Colin says, Ross Medlock, did you manage to find a printing program for the 1350 Titanic props for me?
A what?
Says, did you manage to find a printing program for the 1350 scale Titanic props for me?
No, not yet. I'm lost as to what you're on about there, mate.
That's Ross Medlock. Are
Ross Medlock. If you ping me, Ross, and we'll go through it, mate.
you having a special moment? Did you forget? Jamie,
Yeah, I did. I've got quite a lot of catching up to do on my emails, if I'm honest.
Jamie Bone and Osric and Vincent at Mr. Loaf, who knows all the things anyway, and Glenn Cullen, welcome Glenn, and I think that's everybody. Confirmed that little bit I held up to the camera that was a mantlet is from a panther, and I can show you on my thing here. You might not see it, but I can zoom in a little bit. That's where it went. It went there on the edge of the mandible. So yeah, that was a mantlet from a panther. It's two of them. I've had two of them so far on this. What have we got?
Fish Fingers asks, are we going to do belly and bench today? We don't want to let down Mama Foxx.
Well, I have to be honest. I said to Mama Foxx tonight, I said, we're going to get ready for the show. And she went, oh, don't forget your hat. And I said, oh, no, we're not doing hats tonight because we're doing bench cams because it's too warm to be sat with all the lights on looking pretty. We'll just look melted and sweaty and horrible. Because we can't look pretty under harsh conditions. And Mama Foxx says, oh, well, if you're not doing that, if you're just doing desk shots, I'll just go and watch Endeavour instead. So
it's because Mama Foxx likes to see me. That's what it is, and she just knows it's a waste of time if I'm not on screen tonight.
Ted, I hate to say it, but Colin's a favourite.
Oh, it's always Colin, isn't it? Oh,
yeah. Remember I said that I get it in the neck for a week if Colin doesn't do a Festa's factoid and stuff. So.
Is that a boo and a wibble, Ted?
Yeah. It was always the thing when I was always the last to get picked for the football team. Yeah.
Oh, Lammerkins, don't be sad.
Dexterous Crafter says it's not a bath, it's a bath.
It's a bath, yeah. Yeah, it's a bath.
Anders Eriksson says, question, do you have any experience of a model company named Merit? I found that they have a 1/18 88mm flat gun. Good God, that's going to be enormous. I've heard of Merit, but I'm not familiar with their models.
No, I've not built any of theirs, to be honest. I'll just mute again because I think me spray.
Well, you didn't have to mute in the middle of a word, but we appreciate the effort. So that timing. Yeah, I've heard of Merit. Have you guys come across Merit before?
No, not what I know at all.
Never even heard of him.
I've heard of them. I'll have a look in store and see if they have stuff in the eModels. I've got the wrong glasses on. I can't see any of the words. Merit. Brand. Yes, we do actually stock. Well, eModels actually, I can tell you right now, in store, if you go to the eModels website, which you should be on anyway, and if you put in hashtag, oh, it's not, oh yes, it's MM60030. It is the Merit International 118th Flak 36 88mm German anti-tank gun, and it's £75.
I think you're allowed to put that in text. You're allowed to put that in chat.
And don't forget,
Because
I can't really copy from my desktop to the iPad though, Chris.
I just meant the number, but
Well, it's got a SKU but not a hashtag number.
Okay.
It should be.
if you do buy it, points make prizes. You get your points.
Hang on, let me put it in chat.
I just thought that'd be easier than people trying to misunderstand what you're saying, because you talk all northern like.
6003. I'm not northern like nonsense. I mean, I'm northern. There you go. It's MM60030, or you could just do a search on the website for Merit, and it'll come up. There's loads of other kits in there. I have heard of Merit. I've no experience with them. I have heard of them. I've not heard anything bad about them. So, give it a go.
Ross says Merit are very nice kits.
Yes, and at the end of the day, 75 quid for a 118 scale 88. That's pretty good if you ask me. Let's have a look. People are riffing on the word bath and bath. How bath sounds like bath, which is to throw up.
Yes.
And Sergeant Bones says, imagine my reaction when I saw dog food in Germany was named bath. And Abe Lincoln says, the new 2021 Fiat A-Bath. Model Making Mayhem says, the fact that there's 6 model making people, I may have to change my name. Yes, if you are going to at anyone with the first name Model Making in chat, just make sure you get the right one. There's 6 of us. It's a living nightmare. Merit are very nice kits, says Ross Medlock. Yes, it pays we're doing bench and belly. So what's on your bench, folks? What are you working on and what's on your belly?
Yeah.
Model making, modeler making models. Now you're just taking the mickey now. Modeler making models says belly tandoori chicken bench. Wait, no, hang on. People, use your commas and your punctuation. He's not making a belly tandoori chicken bench. He's making a belly tandoori chicken bench Warhammer Conquest Ultramarines. Use those commas, folks. Dexterous crafting. You can really go off certain southern people, Chris.
Southern describes where I am in the country. That's fine. I understand that.
Yeah, anything below Watford Gap, southern ponciness. Tip me on question. If you were told you could model one genre but any scale, or any genre but only one scale forever, which would you choose? So you can have one genre but any scale you want, or I've forgotten already, or one scale but any genre.
Right.
Which would you go for?
Yeah.
Well, I would say I'd stick with the one scale, because 144 was my thing, but there's not so much available in it really. It's all just planes.
Yeah, pretty much. And well, some little tiny cars and stuff, but yeah.
Very few but tiny cars, not really any at all. So mainly planes and a couple of very strange tanks and things, but yeah. So I don't know.
What about you, Ted? Would you go for one scale any genre, or one genre any scale?
Yeah, I think. Well, I can answer both questions. If it was any genre, I
would just say yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Next, Colin. I think I would go for modern armor.
Yeah.
In the genre of any scale, and I think if it came to one, if it was just one scale any genre, it would be 1/35th scale. I think, because I think there's a vast array of things in that genre already available.
So when the question is which one would you choose, you've just done both.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I would go with the one genre then.
Colin, what about you?
For me, it would be armor, mate. Armor and support vehicles.
Are you sanding a super glue bottle?
I am, because I can't get the top back on it.
Very cool. Carry on. What were you saying, Dave?
For me, it would be armor and the support vehicles around it. So yeah.
You'd stick to one genre, but any scale. It does make sense. I would say I would stick to one genre, any scale, because I would then, if I stick to one genre, I can stick to Warhammer, because then that's always going to be new models for me to paint and build and play.
Absolutely.
And it's always the same scale. So
Although is Warhammer not all one scale as well, really?
yeah, it's all heroic scale. There are some other ones that are off that scale, but I don't make them.
So you'd stick to one scale and one manufacturer.
Oh, hang on, no, yeah. Actually, no. They just happen to all be one scale, but then I could do things like the Aeronautica Imperialis then, because they're a different scale. So yeah, I'd say one genre, Warhammer, but any scale, because there'll always be new models. So like you guys saying armor. There you go.
Yeah.
Fish Fingers is going to change his name to Modeling Making Fish Fingers. I think it needs more modelling and more making in the name there, actually.
We could open that question to the crowd as well, couldn't we? Yeah. Genre or scale? So, yeah. Tell us what you.
Yeah, nobody else in the chat has answered it. So what would you say? Would you say one genre at any scale, or any scale at one scale, any genre? Let's have a look. So your bench and belly questions. Don't forget what's on your bench, what you're working around now, and what you're having for your dinner, or what have you had for your dinner. Patrick Chachevsky's in. He says, I've got an Airfix 172nd Stuka. Cool. Get it made. Modeler making model says, found the corners. I don't know what we're talking. And then he uses like 17 apostrophes, which is just triggering me like no end.
It's probably just using up all his punctuation all at once.
Yeah, so he can miss it out.
So he doesn't have to worry about it later.
Yeah, that's true. I have to say, Abe Lincoln says, I have to say how much I appreciate coming from a brutal shift to go straight into this. We know a lot of you have gone back to work today, so we hope.
I went back to work today.
Yeah, but you're not, you don't count, Chris.
No, I can't count, in fact, yes.
But yeah, we know a lot of you, some of you have been back to work today, so if you've had a tough day back at work because you've been off for so many weeks and you're like, I don't know anything anymore, then hopefully we can be just dumb enough to amuse you for a couple of hours.
I actually worked it out. I was off for 1 day short of 11 weeks.
Wow. And you've still got holiday to use up.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, self-employed, you don't know what holidays are, do you?
Holidays just when I don't bother opening the shop. But
yeah. So we're glad we can lighten your load there a little bit, Abe Lincoln. Mr. President, Sergeant Baron says belly was tagliatelle with mushrooms, rucola and chicken. Bench is on holiday. Paul Lyon says belly, chicken and bacon filled tortellini with tomato, pancetta and Rioja sauce. Bench 172nd Hanley Page Victor Mark 2. Anders Ericsson would go for the genre because he's a tanker. Speedy Curate says civilian vehicles, that gives me lots of bikes and car kits. Wayne Haywood says belly, fish burgers in brioche buns. Bench Strike Noir Gundam. Nice.
I'll have to try that. Fish fingers and brioche buns.
I thought you were going to say Strike Noir Gundam then. I'd be well impressed. Brioche, but it's basically butter buns, aren't they? I love brioche. Graham McRobert, belly just polished off a chicken roast with spuds and sprouts. Yes. Again, no comma. You need to use those commas, folks. Spuds and sprouts bench. And he's working with the resin cockpit set from 132nd Revell Tornado. Primetime modelling has belly spaghetti bolognese, bench Benetton B188 F1 restoration, getting some paint on before live stream tomorrow.
I keep looking around and banging my head on this camera boom.
Yeah, welcome to my life every time I do a damn live stream.
The thing is, it's working like one of these cameras. When you go to the zoo and try and take a picture of the tiger through the bars, the camera doesn't know whether to focus on the bars of the tiger.
And then the tiger bites your head off.
Yeah, so some eyes focus on the camera boom, but then it can't see the writing.
You can't see the writing on the boom. Let me know whenever you want to, when you're diving in, Cole, with the chat and stuff, if you want to. Eric Graham, let's have a look.
I'm now gluing things together.
Yeah. Eric Graham says, here's an interesting one. Eric Graham says, just did a flyover of the UK using a weather app. He's basically stalking us.
Well,
I didn't realise how densely populated you guys really are. Yeah, there's 60 million of us in the UK. 60 million people in a country that's probably half the size of Japan by area.
Yep. And they all live in Manchester.
Yeah, everybody's northern apart from a couple of southern ponces. We're all northern good people. I have to admit, I have to admit, my mind was blown when I actually saw Japan overlaid over the UK. I didn't realise how big Japan actually is. You think Japan's this little tiny island? It's bigger than us.
Is it really?
Yeah, by volume of area, it's massive.
Ding dong, mate.
Yeah, there's like 20 bajillion people that live there. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was quite surprised when I looked at Australia. I knew Australia was big, but I didn't realise it was that big until you overlaid Europe on it,
Oh
and
yeah.
it swallowed up the whole of Europe with lots to spare.
Let's have a look. Retro Rabbit says, bench nothing literally. It's being moved to its new studio home. On the other side of the room, thin belly, thin crust, plain pepperoni, Dr. Oetker oven pizza. Edward Leonard, bench Gravity Series 560 grill, belly, pork, egg, foo young, and hot and sour soup.
All right, I'm going to join Ted in gluing stuff together. Actually,
Ooh,
Oh, you legend, you.
legend.
Yeah. This is a live stream. Take note, people. Please record this live stream on your recorders and keep it for posterity. Because never before in the series of building live streams have you seen so much glued in so short a time.
I actually glued 3 components on already. I've already glued on 3 components. That's a record.
I think that's 3 years of YouTube for you two, isn't it?
I know. That's all the views gone now, isn't it? Tim Young says, heroic must be 1/16 scale. Anything that size is a heroic build. Heroic scale Warhammer stuff is kind of 1/35, sort of, not quite. Because people in the Warhammer world are actually normal human shape. They're kind of squat and wide. So if you look at a head of a Warhammer dude, like a guardsman, he's sort of similar to 1/35. Not quite. He's a bit, maybe the head's a bit bigger, but the body's small. It's really weird. You can kind of fit a Warhammer dude into a 1/35 tank and get away with it, but they're not actually 1/35. They're not an actual real scale, but it's just called heroic scale. Fish fingers or model making models, making fish fingers, model baking, says Belly. Homemade cheeseburger with lettuce and tomato on a toasted sesame seed bun. Bench. Just unboxed my resin 3D printer.
Oh, good man. What do we get?
Oh, you can't reply. He's in chat. I was leaving a pause there. Cynical Steve.
I know.
Cynical Steve says bench is a dinosaur spaceship. Only Steve could do a comment like that. Belly is out as not feeling well. Oh, get better, Steve.
I thought he was going to say dinosaur burgers then.
Dinosaur burgers. You know what you need to do, Steve? Whatever's wrong with you, just eat a lot of bread. It soaks all the badness up, and then you do a big, massive poo, and then you feel better.
And
bread
moving
poo.
Andrew Preston, sausage, chips, and beans. Sausage, chips, and beans. Like and subscribe. Painting figures for Airfix Battles, the introductory war games.
I'm just trying to find out where you are to try.
fish fingers, yeah, it's exactly the same printer as I've got, mate. You will love it.
Anybody want to take over on the chat for a bit?
I'm just
Oh,
trying to
yeah,
find
I was just reading it out, mate.
Yeah, I don't want to do all the chat all the night because they'll be
No,
listening
that's
to me
all
all
right,
night.
No. He's saying his printer was the Elegoo Mars Pro, which is the
All right.
good printer, mate. You will love every minute of it. Vince is saying if you want to talk dents when it comes to European countries, Belgium is 11 million people in their tiny little patch.
If you want to talk dense, give me an IQ test.
You want to talk dents, come down to my neck of the woods. I thought I'd get that one in. Who else is there going? I'll go from bottom to top because that's where my chat is at the moment. It's saying Belly is mushrooms and creamy peppercorn sauce with spaghetti. Bench is a Toon Panther with some resin bits.
Ooh, maybe the mantlet on the front of that Toon Panther will look like the bit I've just glued on the Millennium Falcon there.
Yeah, Emma Jane Young is saying feeling a bit sad today, so thank you very much for saying boo in the live stream. It's made her laugh.
We aim to please.
Yeah, Andrew Preston saying, have you got a new airbrush? Thought you used the trigger action. No, I was using the H&S to do the paint on that. I've got the trigger brushes just there, mate.
H&S sounds like a high street fashion company.
Yeah, I've got several triggers and I've got like Mr. Robbie airbrush and stuff like that if I'm doing pre-shading or post-shading. So it depends on what I'm painting, but I thought I'd whip out the Ardour and steam back because my trigger brush needs a good de-clean, so yeah.
Yeah, when you say H&S, it makes me think it's like one of those places where you go to buy slightly off-brand clothes, like a bit of a Pram Harney job. We go on H&S to buy some flip-flops.
Yeah, no, like I say, I thought I'd dig out
No, it's only old ladies that go to H&S to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they go to Marks and Spencers, they go to Marks and Spencers because they're going on a coach trip and they want some nice slacks.
Do they go to H&S to buy them shapeless coats and those round furry hat things?
I want to get
Ladies wear.
myself a nice pair of flannels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go to Blackpool. I've got to be comfy, so I get some nice slacks for the bus. Oh yeah,
Slacks. So you go into that store and it's the world's largest collection of people with a nephew that lives in New Zealand.
Yeah, Vince was saying I just wanted to show off Excalibur. No, Excalibur had to come out because it's top coat, Vince. I have different airbrushes for whatever I'm doing at the end of the day. My trigger runs are all Chinese knockoffs. I've got what's his name, an Iwatto or a Neo for Iwatto over there, but depends on what I'm spraying.
Glue.
Normally my top coats are done with the H&S. Any of me clear coats like matte varnish or gloss varnish are done with me little KK Moon trigger.
And every time I hear KK Moon, I think of KK Slider from Animal Crossing.
If I'm doing pre-shading for like the Huey or the tanks or anything, then I use the Mr. Hobby because it's got a matte valve on it and it's set right low.
The thing, I was just going to say that very quickly, because we do often say to people when you're starting out airbrushing, we often say you should never go for the sort of the cheap non-brand Chinese knockoff type airbrushes that you get with a compressor and a brush for like £3.50.
Yeah,
because they're pretty much garbage, and it's like learning to ride a bike with square wheels. Yeah. However, having said that, if you know what you're doing with airbrushes, the cheap ones, even some of the real low budget stuff that eModels sells, they're worth having for some of those jobs where you don't need a high quality
cheap ones, Foxx. What I tend to do, I've got a selection of micro mesh.
Yeah.
So cheap Chinese ones, I sit there and I polish the needles. Yeah. With micro mesh right down to the finest grade, put a bit of needle juice in there, and mate, honestly, it's like, get yourself some of that.
So don't think just because there is sometimes confusion because we say to people, don't buy the cheap brush if you want to learn how to airbrush, but you'll see us using them. It's because they're fine if you know what you're doing. I had this conversation with someone the other day. He said, somebody said to me, I've used these kind of cheapy airbrushes for years, never had a problem. I said, yeah, but you know what you're doing. And you know when it goes wrong, that's not your lack of skill, it's the airbrush's lack of quality.
Absolutely.
If you're a learner, you'd think it was you going wrong and you'd give up airbrushing. So just so nobody gets confused, we don't say beginners should get them, but if you know what you're doing, then they're worth getting some. Ranging as well. So
my little Chinese airbrush up there, one of them is my go-to primer airbrush. It is brilliant because it gives me a nice coverage. It's 0.5 needle. I've done the micro meshing on it, and it slavers it on quite nicely.
Yeah, but if you are learning, we wouldn't recommend it because, like I say, it's like learning to ride a bike with square wheels.
Yeah, they're not for everyone. But
anyway, carry on. Sorry, Colin. I've got sidetracked.
No, not at all. But no, I mean, Excalibur comes out when I'm doing my top coats because, I must admit, I don't know what it is. Ted will relate to this, but there's something about when you're spraying with the Ardering Steenbeck, it just feels right.
I love it. But I'm a bit like you. I don't use it for chucking on clear coats. I don't coats through it. So
no, any finished coats get done with it. But...
just very quickly, Fish Fingers does ask if you've got any 3D prints you can show, Cole, but this is an eModel show which doesn't really support 3D printing, so not something really...
I'll tell you what, if he tunes into my Sunday brunch, I'll show him whatever he needs there, mate.
Yeah, it's just not something that eModels really deal with a lot, so it's not
the context of this show, I can't really sideline off.
Yeah.
Well, this has just thrown me for a bit of a loop because it's got a bit that says you can do this for assembly variant 1 and do this for assembly variant 2, but I can't find anything about any different assembly variants.
Colin Walker's asking in chat, has anyone done scratch building? I'm turning an Amtronic car into a Starfleet shuttle using runabout parts.
Ooh. I have a Federation runabout in my stash, actually.
Yeah. So what do you need to know about scratch building? What? Because there's like kit bashing and there's scratch building where you scratch build.
One of the people in chat, Steve, Cynical Steve, is a monster scratch builder.
Yeah.
Everything he does is scratch building. I've made a goof and I've glued something on that I didn't need to glue on, and now I can't get another part into place.
Bless him. Yeah, fish fingers. Yeah, it's the right thing, mate. I mean, this is an eModel show, mate. But yeah, tune in Sunday, mate, and I will gladly answer anything you need to be answered, buddy. In the meantime, message me privately, and I can always go through setup with you and my settings.
Yeah, there's the stuff that we all do for ourselves that isn't relevant to eModels that we wouldn't really discuss on this show. But we're not going to talk about it. It's just, it's not.
Yeah. It's not a polite thing to do.
Yeah. Right, there's that bit. I glued on that mantlet from the Panther. I glued it on and I shouldn't
Hold up a minute. I'm just going to grip my bench. Could you repeat that? Did you say you've just glued something on?
I did, I know. No, that little mantlet from the Panther. I did the steps in the wrong order, so I should have glued this other thing on too.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, I think Foxx has got to the stage now where he doesn't glue anything together. He just cuts it all off and denubs it, and then gets the man in. A man comes in and glues things together for him.
No, that's only Forge World Deathcore Krieg. I get that. If some people have asked why am I gluing this on the push fit kit, by the way, it's purely because you don't need to do anything on this kit. It is a push fit kit. It goes together beautifully because Bandai make the best kits in the world. But the reason I'm gluing it is I have to send this to eModels. And first and foremost, it'll probably have to be posted because the entire world's on fire. Because this will go back to eModels and live there. But also, what I don't want to happen is that the eModels guys rearrange their office, move this, bits fall off, and they panic because they don't know what to do. Because if you ever looked at someone else's model, or you make your own models, no one else would know exactly how to put it back together again if it fell over. No. So I don't want them moving it around and bits falling off. So I'm just doing this for safety. Plus, I probably will end up having to mail or post this to them because I can't really leave the house. So it's going to be in a box and it's safe if everything's glued in place. So you don't need to glue this, but.
Marine Dalek saying in chat that he started out with the Sparmax Beetle Airbrush bundle from eModels, and it's doing really well so far. It's not had any problems.
Absolutely. People don't realise this, but Sparmax, I think it's Sparmax that are made in the same factory as Iwata.
Yeah.
They are actually the same. A lot of them are actually the exact same airbrush.
Yeah.
There's an agreement between
I found out what the assembly variant differences are.
Oh, yeah.
Assembly variant 1 involves making up the fan belty thing using the 2 bits of plastic. And assembly variant 2 involves this symbol, which I've looked up and says scratch build. So I'm going to do assembly variant number 1.
Why would you say, hey, we're going to give you this component, but if you want, you can completely scratch build your own?
Well, it seems to be. I assume you make it out of rubber or something, or, because the other bits that refer to it are the making up the wheels that it attaches to, and it's got basically a wheel without a part cut out if you're scratch building your own belt for it, or one with bits cut out where obviously it fits on and fits in. So yes, I'm going to do variant 1, which is the easy one, the one that doesn't involve me having to make things myself. So
conversation about airbrush is going on.
But you can have a go at scratch building it, and then when it doesn't work, you can go back to variant 1.
Yeah, no, because it involves putting different wheels on it at different places and things. So no.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do what we do with their airbrushes and have good, better, best, because Abe Lincoln's saying he's got a Pash Talon for his mid-tier airbrush with 0.5 tip, and the metallics go through that really well. So, I think a lot of us start off, don't we, with the cheap airbrushes, and we work out.
Oh, my first ever airbrush was a Halford's job, and it was one of them really crappy ones with the bottle. It was the suction feed and the spread.
Oh yeah, you've got a cup underneath it.
I didn't know better. I was like, I was only 37. 38. I didn't know better.
Still in shorts.
Still in shorts now. But there's a prime example, you see. There's a prime example of getting the cheap, crappy brushes to learn on. I got that. This is going back to the 90s. I got that, and this is when I used to make Star Trek models. And I used it, and I in those days it was pre-internet, so I read books, actual books with pages on how to use it.
Was it books with men in turtleneck sweaters and pipes and?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good man with a pipe in one hand and airbrush in the other. Absolutely. But you know, I read books on how to do it, and I got me my little, £40 Halfords airbrush with its suction feed and its absolute nonsense quality. And I tried painting Deep Space Nine, a model of Deep Space Nine. I tried painting a Reliant. I tried airbrushing a Junkers JU-52.
Yeah.
I airbrushed a Voyager and a Runabout, and they were all pretty much a big massive Reliant, I should say, and they were all pretty much absolute garbage.
Yeah.
But I thought it was me. I thought I really suck at airbrushing. I'm not going to do airbrushing ever again, and I threw it away, and I didn't do airbrushing for another 20 years.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was me, and I didn't realize it was just a shockingly bad airbrush, and it really was.
Yeah.
I was hobbling myself trying to learn, and that's why it's important. If you're going to learn,
Oh, yeah. Because it's that sort of thing I find that puts people off it straight away because they think it's them. You know?
and they don't know better.
You don't want to learn to drive in a car that keeps cutting out or steers a bit to the left.
Yeah.
Or
But that's the thing. What you don't realise is with those kind of real low end of the budget kind of airbrushes. Because don't get me wrong. Sometimes you get like an airbrush and compressor combo, and the compressor's probably actually all right.
Yes.
But the problem with the cheapy airbrushes is that the manufacturing quality is not there.
No.
So you'll have, your nozzle won't be very good, or it won't line up properly, or the needle's not very fluid, anything like that, and the tolerances aren't great. So if you're an experienced airbrush user, you can, like you did, you ground it down. You can work with that. It's a great. We all have like a whole raft of little cheapy airbrushes.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
They're really useful. But as a beginner, just start in the middle of the range and get good at airbrushing. And once you realise you like it, then you can get some cheapy ones.
Yeah, I did it with Dave, when he was getting his airbrushes. I said, well, get yourself some Chinese ones and a pad of micromesh. I said, and sit there and polish the needles. I said, that'll make it a hell of a lot more usable to start with.
Mm-hmm.
I said, then work your way up from there. And that's what he's done, And...
But that's the thing. I mean, so yeah, there's just thought. I know we just already discussed it, but I suddenly remembered that it put me off for 20 years because I thought it was me, and it wasn't me. It was a rubbish airbrush. Yeah. But now I'm older and I'm more experienced. I thought I was going to try it again. I'm going to start with a better airbrush.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Arder and Steenbeck I'm fiddling with now, putting back together. That was, only a purchase last year or so, or 2 years ago actually. Because I'd saved up because it was that airbrush I thought would be the final sort of piece, and...
But that's the kind of thing that you don't dive straight into the most expensive brushes.
all right, I shall be back briefly. You won't be a minute.
I can hear whispering. But yeah, you don't dive straight into the most expensive airbrush because at that point you're learning because you don't know if you even like the airbrush.
Absolutely, and it is a steep learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, some people take to it straight away and love it. Some people try it for a bit and decide it's not for them and they prefer brush painting. And it'd be a shame to drop all that money on a Harder and Steenbeck and then realise you don't like doing it.
Yeah.
So always start at the middle and then work your way. Once you're happy with airbrushing and like doing it, then you can, go up the scale a bit. But do pick up some of the crappy cheap ones later on. Don't get them straight away.
To believe it or not, it was watching Skipper that put me onto the H&S. I just sort of thought, God, that's a nice looking airbrush he's got there, and he does seem to be quite relaxed about how he's going about it, and the airbrush itself seemed to be performing. It was like, I'll look into them and did a bit.
You know what that was though, Carl? That was the gin that made him more relaxed.
I think it's because he was sober.
You know that now. It was the gin.
No, it's quite the opposite. Best airbrushing's done when you're totally out of the world.
Advice given by the eModels guys may or may not be accurate. Please do not follow.
Yeah. eModels sponsored by gin.
Yeah, it's sponsored by gin. Which one? All of it.
Yeah, all of the gin, as much of the gin.
That's a little fiddly bit done. Let's have a look. What we're doing in.
Colin Walker's saying he tried the air canister type airbrushes, failed badly, put me off airbrushing for years. Yeah, totally understand that, mate.
I mean, that's another thing that people don't realize. Airbrushing with air cans, again, it's absolutely fine if you know what you're doing.
Yes.
If I've got to spray something dead quickly, and if I had an airbrush, if I had one here, and it was like I had a canister thing.
Yes.
If I had to quickly spray that, then it would be a lot easier for me to get my crappy airbrush, stick it on a can, done.
Absolutely.
turn the compressor on, because I knew I could do it quickly. But if I was beginning, it's because what people don't realize is that as the air runs out of the can, the pressure drops.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
What did I miss?
Yeah, or
It's like me normally spraying. I would drop Bruce Willis out and have all my spray booth set up. But
You may need to clarify that with information, Colin, because that just sounds really weird.
what's that?
To spray, I drop Bruce Willis out. That makes no sense.
No, yeah, No, normally I just realised,
You might need
Normally
to explain
if I
that
was
one.
spraying, I would dismantle my bench as I'm doing on camera. Drop out Bruce Willis, who's my pot holder, because underneath here I've got my extractor system that I then drop in my adapters. My spray booth then goes on the front of it, and then underneath the desk at the front here is a little switch that turns on the extractor pump that sends it out the wall. So, and then I don't have to have a spray booth permanently set up on the bench because I've got restricted space in it.
So yeah, there is a place and a use for the real bottom end of the spectrum, but not if you're a beginner. Anyway, let's move on. We've talked about that for ages now.
No, it is one of those though, isn't it? I mean, I'm looking at the airbrushes there. I mean, my very first one was cheap Chinese knockoff.
Yeah.
You know.
Beck Storm says, I'm new to airbrushing too, spent all day yesterday using it and feel like I've gotten really good results considering. That's the thing, we've said it a million times. Airbrushing, it's a really steep learning curve, but it's a really fast learning curve.
Yes.
Everything you need to know, you'll learn within like a day. But it's a challenge to learn it, but because 99% of airbrushing is nothing to do with knowledge or experience or skill. 99% of airbrushing is confidence.
Yes.
That's it. It's simple as that. You know,
Feel comfortable using the equipment you've got. If you don't feel comfortable using it, you're not going to succeed at it, are you?
Yeah. I mean, I was always a bit of a nervous airbrusher at first when I first learned. Not when I first learned on my crappy airbrush, but I was always a bit nervous. And then there was one day when I was like, I had a model I was painting, and it wasn't an important model. It was just a cheapy, crappy thing I picked up just for a bit of fun. And because it had no consequences, and it was a little fun build that I was just doing for nonsense reasons, I thought, let's try different things. Put the pressure up, put the pressure down. Let's just black the paint on us. And I just played with it, and suddenly my brain went, yeah, it's not scary now.
Yeah.
But the one thing that everybody will do when they learn to airbrush, and I guarantee we'll all do this, the first time you clean your airbrush, if it's a button trigger, the trigger will fall out, and your little bit of poo might come out because you'll be really nervous. You might do a little bit of a poo coming out.
Not out of the airbrush.
Yeah, not out of the airbrush, no. When that trigger falls out for the first time, you'll be like, oh, flop sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I found that when I first took my Neo to pieces, when the pistol grip one, when I actually dismantled all the trick mechanism and that, it was like,
Well, I'll be really honest. I've never had the balls to actually take mine apart like that. I don't.
Yeah, no. Once you've done it a couple of times, mate, it's second nature.
Well, I'm quite happy to take a normal brush apart with the button trigger, but that trigger one, I've never taken it apart because it's scared.
Just drop the plastic handle off. There's a brass screw underneath. Undo that, take out the screw inside, and it all comes apart, mate.
You may as well be describing a circuit diagram to me there, Col.
What I'll do is I'll film it.
I'm a frilly sleeve foppish artist. I don't understand.
And I'll also remember, don't shake your bottle of pledge with the lid actually open, because when it goes all over the front of your glasses, you can't see.
Yeah, but they're beautifully shiny there.
Oh, mate, I did it the other week, didn't I? I'd been spraying pledge, and I'd pledged my webcam, and you came in and went, you're awfully foggy, dude. And I'm like, I don't understand it. And moving on.
Monkey55500 says he uses the cheap Chinese ones and they've been great, so I don't know if it's worth buying a more expensive one. It's kind of like saying, I drive a 25-year-old Ford Fiesta. I don't need to buy a Jaguar.
Yeah,
you don't need to, but you can do.
Yeah.
Better, more expensive, top of the range airbrushes or mid-range or anything. They're better quality. They'll last longer. They're more reliable. They're more precise. You may find your airbrushing actually improves. Yeah. It's like saying I got these brushes from the pound shop and I can paint with them, I don't need to buy this 25 set of, you know, broken toed brushes or the AK or the, you know, Ammo by MIG brushes. You'd be surprised. Better brushes make you paint better. So better airbrushes, you might be fine with the ones you've got. You might be fine with your airbrushes. You don't have to buy, you know, more higher up range ones, but you might find them more convenient. They might enhance your painting abilities. You never know. Don't say never. Never say never.
It's one of them things, isn't it? It all depends on what you're comfortable with at the end of the day, mate.
You don't have to go for the, you know, the better equipment, but it just might make your life a little easier.
Yeah, I mean, I only started getting more higher end brushes as the channel took off, and I got more into being back into the model making because I didn't know whether I would stay around or not. You know, it was one of them.
I think you've got to remember that there are a lot of advertising live streams out there where all they're trying to do is get you to buy the product and say your modeling will improve and you will get better. You will be a better modeler because you have our new Super X1 product. It's not. That's where our live streams differ in that. As Foxx has just said, if you've got good stuff and you're getting good results from it, you don't need to change it. We're not trying to sell you anything. We are linked to eModels. eModels do sell models and things like that, and they would like you to buy the stuff, but we're not here to ram it down your throat to go out and buy it.
And again, I find as well, we only use stuff that works, don't we? I mean, you know, if it doesn't work, we don't use it.
Yeah, we're not actually employed by eModels, so. No. But you know, this is an eModels show. But that's the thing. We're going to give you the honest cut, and it's like that. I nearly pinged a piece off there. We're going to give the honest cut and say, you know, if you've got your little, you know, cheap airbrushes and they work fine for you, stick with it. But don't shut yourself off to the possibility that improving your equipment will improve your skills. And like I say, the best analogy is brushes. I for years I used crappy unknown brand brushes from the, you know, the pound shop, and they were fine. Then I started using proper brushes, and it's like, wow, I can actually brush paint now. So
you'll find the better quality brushes will hold your paint better.
Yes,
will hold the shape longer. And it's like an airbrush. I'm just cleaning this one out because Cole's reminded me that I needed to clean it. It feels better in your hand, so I think you become more comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit old school because I was an ex-painter anyway, so I tend to field strip my airbrushes at every use. You know,
I do that,
I got used to it at the end of every working day I've been at my workshop. I used to field strip all my airbrushes ready for the following day, and it's a habit that I've carried on with. Hence why I take my pistol grip airbrushes apart. It's just like second nature.
I'm the same because I mean people often ask me should they get one of them like hydrosonic cleaner things where you put it in and you put your airbrush in it. And I always say no, it's a waste of money. But you don't need to if you just clean your brush properly and maintain it properly. It'll be fine. Now here's a question though, because I am really anal about cleaning my airbrush and keeping it. So I will, you know, do a full strip down and clean it at the end of every painting day.
Yes.
And even if I just need to spray, if I just needed to spray that, I'd spray it and then I strip it down.
Oh yeah, it's still a full field strip. Yeah.
Here is the question though: what counts as a full field strip? This is what I would do. Let's say I've got. Let me get my airbrush out. There you go. Let's actually strip it down live on telly. What can possibly go wrong?
Good for you.
Right. Let's get my tools. Let me get my tools. Right. Here we go. I don't know if you want to put it on me for a minute, Chris.
Yeah, give me a second.
As well.
Let me find me mouse.
This is what I would cast as a full strip down. Now, I'm not going to take the trigger assembly apart because it scares me, and I never do on this one. Also, if you've got an ultrasonic cleaner, do not put a trigger brush in an ultrasonic cleaner because that will really knacker it. If you've got a button one, even though it's not advised. If it was a button one, I'd take it down. But this is what I would do, full strip. Take the cup off. This is the tiara.
I never put needles in an ultrasonic because of
they
the
get
tip
damaged.
bending.
Yeah. Now, again, I'll take the end off. I've got sweaty hands and I can't grip it. Oh no, it's a bit moist. That's me little bit on the end. It's handy. I've got this sanding thing here. Thank you, Kenneth. I remove. Oh god, I've got slippy hands. I remove the crown cap. Trigger in. Remove the crown. Take my needle chuck off, needle always through the front, but we don't do that yet because oh no, I need to put it back on it. I'm not nozzle yet. Trigger in, nozzle spanner. I've never done this live on telly before. Get my nozzle off.
Don't break it.
God,
Don't lose it.
Get me nozzle chuck off the air, and needle chuck, and then push it through the front. Never push it out the back. Always pull your needle through the front. And there. That is my full strip down that I do. Is that what you do as a full strip down, Colin, or would you go further?
No, I strip the whole lot down, mate.
Yeah, I've got mine stripped down.
I can show you. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other thing I would say is I do sometimes take the head unit off, but as with all airbrushes, they never give you a spanner big enough, so I have to get the pliers out and it knackers that. So I don't do that for them. I've got some airbrush cleaning brushes that get inside nice and clean, but I've never taken this bit apart. It's never given me a problem, but
Yeah, no,
that terrifies me. So
Yeah, that's what this here is the H&S complete strip down, apart from the air valve.
just very quickly, Ted. Beckstorm says I don't take the nozzle out and just slide the needle out the back. Don't ever do that. Because what you're doing is you're taking paint on the needle and you're dragging it all the way through the back of the brush, which is where paint should never get. You should never get paint on a trigger brush. It should never be behind there, and on a button brush, you should never have paint behind where the trigger is. It shouldn't ever get there. So if you're pulling a needle out the back and you've not cleaned it yet, you're pulling all the paint and varnish and crap on the needle all the way through the back of the brush. So there's always ways to take the nozzle off and then push the needle out through the front. It just helps reduce getting. Otherwise, you will have to take the whole thing apart and then completely field strip it. So I've got to put this back together again now. God damn it.
Yeah, I've just taken my airbrush apart because when I was messing with it, I noticed that the trigger was quite filthy. So yeah, this is a H&S complete strip down.
Hang about. I shall put Ted on full screen now.
I mean, if this was a button airbrush, I would obviously strip down the trigger assembly as well. And I probably would go as far as Ted's gone, but this one scares me and I don't take it apart. So
yeah,
it's the only reason I don't take this one apart.
Yeah, unlike with the H&S airbrush, unlike where you saw Foxx take his needle out and need a spanner to it, this is a drop-in needle. So you just put your nozzle in there.
I do like that on that. I'll have to get. They don't do trigger brushes though, do they?
I don't know.
One thing that reason I can't get a H&S, I just said H. God damn it. H&S airbrush is I have to have a trigger. I can't have a normal button. I can't spray with the button because of my funky messed up hands. So I have to have a trigger, which is a shame because I really want a harder steam back. There you go, reassemble, no problem.
Yeah, so the only bit that I can't take apart is the air valve here in just this bit here, because I need some pliers just to. I've tightened that.
To be fair though, you should never need to do that, should you? Not really.
No, not really. You can't lubricate it, but you can lubricate it in the top.
Oh, I should lubricate my needle. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, just a little bit of needle juice.
Yeah, I love that needle juice. It just sounds so wrong. I'm sticking past me the needle juice.
Really, these are doddle to clean. And I don't know why I didn't clean this one. I just forgot about it.
After we've done yours, Ted, Anders says, can we put Colin on full screen so he can show how to take the trigger apart?
Yep.
So you've got the even worse job now, Colin. You've got to take your trigger assembly apart.
I'm already done it.
Shut up. Smart Alec.
Yep. So now we'll go over to Colin to watch him
On the
strip.
sports desk.
I'll do it now, shall I? I wasn't paying attention to Ted doing it. Are we going to Colin? You out now then?
Yeah. Good.
And literally, you just pull the needle out as well. See,
There we go.
so that's a field strip for me.
See, I don't go that far, but
Yeah,
I probably
that's the
should.
trigger out. That's the inner mechanism out. That's all the springs, the brass ring. The key with the triggers, I'll just get my pointy stick, is when you take the handle off, underneath, just here, is a screw, little brass flathead screw. When you undo that, it enables you to take out the internal brass ring that sits in there. And then that will release the internal trigger mechanism.
See, this is the thing I have with airbrushes is because I'm a foppish, freely sleeved artist, I don't really understand the mechanics of it. So when I always have this nightmare, if a valve goes on my airbrush, I just have to buy a new airbrush because
and I get right back to the PTF seal, which is just there. And I clean all of that, so that all I end up with is just an empty casing.
Yeah.
And that's what I do every day, every time I spray. And works for me. It probably wouldn't work for everyone, but
like I say, if I was using a normal button brush, I've got the Iwata Revolution. I can strip that down. It could be constituent, no problem. But
and it's the same thing. You know, just put your needles in and you bung it back together. And then all I do to put my valve in is I just feed it through the back of the airbrush with the needle. Pull the needle through like so, and it drops it down so that you can screw it back in to the airbrush body.
So have you got a toolkit for your airbrush then, Colin, or do you?
I've got a set of jeweler's screwdrivers, mate.
Right.
And then I just put the jeweler's screwdriver down the body. And all you do on that is you just nip it up so that it nips. You don't want to go too tight because otherwise the needle won't slide through the PTFE seal.
Nip it.
See?
All line says, don't say needle juice 3 times.
Yeah.
Needle juice. I'm not saying it 3 times.
So that's all I do, and that's to me is a daily field strip, or whenever I spray with a pistol grip airbrushes, I just dismantle the whole thing. But you shouldn't get paint behind that PTF seal at all. You know, if you do, then obviously you need to tighten it up.
Yeah. Somebody did mention in chat, I've missed it now. I did apologise. There's apparently a Badger airbrush where it's designed to be pulled out of the back. If an airbrush is designed that the needle should be pulled out of the back, then that's fine. But if it's not an actual design intention, you don't want to pull that needle out the back. It transfers rubbish into the back, and also it can damage some of the seals doing that.
That's right.
Yeah. So unless it's specifically designed to be removed from the back of the airbrush, in which case they've taken all that into account. Don't. Plastic Modeler says, hard to have a pistol grip called the Kalani. Prices. If you're interested in getting one, I'm now interested in that. They don't have anything in the store. I've just had a look on the website. But if you are looking to get the airbrush, just give the guys at eModels either a call or drop them an email through the contact form on the website and ask them if they can get one in for you. I might have to have a look at that later, actually. But yeah, I have to have a pistol grip. I can't. I've got a button grip Revolution and I can use it for like 10 minutes. So for very quick things, I can use it, and you'll see me use it on videos. But I absolutely have to have.
Yeah, if I'm having a bad hand day, then these are the airbrushes I'll go to.
Oh yeah, I can get about 15 minutes out of my Revolution before I'm in pain. I think the longest spray session I've had with my Trigger TR1 is like 4 hours.
Yeah,
and no discomfort whatsoever. Do you realise, can I just point out, we've done a whole mess of model making type stuff tonight?
I know people will be tuning in tonight and they'll be wondering what they've come across with. They tuned into the wrong channel or something.
In fact,
maybe you can send back the ordinary people.
Cynical Steve actually says this actual useful modelling advice is freaking me out. The thing is, that's one of the reasons I was debating trying this, was it means we can do things like show you the things like that, because I can't show you how to disassemble an airbrush when I'm sat there looking pretty on the telly. It doesn't really work. So maybe we'll just stick to this desktop view. It's a lot more relaxing for us.
Yeah, we're not sitting here sweating like with our hat and all of that lot going, cool, it's always here.
I think we could get a proper programming sort of system going here, couldn't we? Like,
we could do this once a month, couldn't we?
Yeah, 1 week general chat, 2nd week bench chat, 3rd week quiz night,
Ted,
4th week nostalgia.
Do we need to have a conversation about how we don't plan stuff?
Yeah,
don't go too far there. You just have to take it too far.
Yeah. This week we're doing this because we forgot what we were doing. We forgot what we was.
Yeah, that's back together now, and it's like ready to go.
Yeah. So Ostrich saying, why is nobody talking about biscuits?
Biscuits.
Short.
Chocolate hobnobs.
Exactly. That's it. Chocolate hobnobs. There's no conversation to be had. It's just chocolate hobnobs.
Yeah, that's all you can say. Hello. Night, Mum. Take care, darling.
Oh, she's not going to bed. She's just wandering past.
I'm Mummy's favourite. I'm Mummy's favourite.
I just want to pull my visor down. And I'm not
The
actually wearing
reason,
it.
one of the reasons I decided to clean this airbrush was because I got to a part on the digger build where it's gluing on some really tiny pieces,
Yeah.
and I just haven't got the setup to be able to see it. So yeah, I can't really glue them on.
Do you mean you haven't got the patience to do it on camera without swearing?
Yeah, that could be it as well.
Yeah, that's why I'm regretting all these tiny, delicate pipes and tubes right now.
Yeah, it's really small, and I can't see it in this lighting setup and with the camera in the way. So
Yeah, I never go like that once.
yeah, I do it. Plus, I've run out of gin. I mean water.
Gin, Ted, gin.
So
Chat doing.
thanks
Better
to got my airbrush nice and clean now because it reminded me. I didn't put any needle juice in it.
Yeah, Spiddy's saying the Badger isn't actually designed to pull from the back. It's an end piece stopping you drawing it forward.
You're an end piece.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used the Badger brush. I don't know.
Oh no, I used to Badger. Well, like I say, I mean, if that's the way the design is intended to take the needle out, then obviously go for that. But
Yeah.
if it's a traditional airbrush, you'd probably be absolutely fine. It's just in the same way you'd be absolutely fine driving with a blindfold, but you might not.
Yeah, other airbrushes may be designed differently.
Yeah, I could lay in some razor blades in my comfy chair, and I might be fine, but I might not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit like me opening up a bottle of super glue and not gluing myself to anything. It's just not going to happen, is it?
Anders Ericsson says, "What cleaning fluid works the best?" I assume that's an airbrush question.
I make my own, so I wouldn't know. I'll just use that. It's the same as me glue. I make my own glue and things. So.
I tend to use 3 things. I use whatever acrylic thinner I've got on the go at the time, which at the minute is the UMP airbrush thinner. I've got loads and loads of the Iwata Medea airbrush cleaning stuff. And if I'm cleaning out my Revolution, which is solvent safe, I just use isopropyl alcohol. If it's a solvent safe airbrush, isopropyl alcohol is the strongest solvent you can put through it and it'll be fine. Or it's the strongest non-lacquer solvent you can put through it. That's the best thing to clean paint out because it'll strip everything. If you're not sure if it's solvent safe, I'm not sure if my TRN1 is solvent safe because it's one of the first generation. I don't know if it was or not. So I tend not to risk it. I'll clean the nozzle and the metal parts with isopropyl alcohol, but the rest just get thinners. Airbrush, normal acrylic thinners. I do like the Iwata Medea cleaning fluid, but I do find sometimes it leaves a bit of a sticky residue that I have to clean off. So I tend to just stick to thinners. But just any airbrush cleaning solution is fine, or just normal acrylic thinners. But if it is a solvent safe brush and you've got isopropyl alcohol, use that. It's stronger than airbrush cleaning solutions, but only if it's solvent safe. You got any thoughts, Ted or Chris?
I've just
no thoughts at all.
Actually, clean the airbrush with IPA. So yeah, I've just done that.
Now, over to Chris for the traffic report.
Yeah, no thoughts for me at all. I don't tend to have thoughts. I've tried to stay away from them for as long as possible.
Spid says if you use acrylic exclusive, then IPA will do. Yeah, IPA is absolutely fine. It's a brilliant thinner for your paints. It's a brilliant cleaner for your airbrushes, but as long as your airbrush is solvent safe.
And that's if you can get it in today's world.
Yeah. It's actually quite hard to try. It is actually quite hard. You can't just go to the chemist and buy it anymore.
No. I went to the chemist once and asked him about it, and he sort of, "What do you want that for?" Oh, well, we can sell you some, but we can't sell you a lot. I won't bother them. So
the thing, you look at most airbrush thinners and most airbrush cleaners, they are actually just isopropyl alcohol with other things put in, like anti-corrosion agents, and some airbrush cleaning solutions have like isopropyl alcohol and stuff for lubrication. That is the one advantage of airbrush cleaning solutions. They also do other things as well as strip all the paint out. Whereas alcohol is just going to strip all the paint out. But yeah, IPA is fine. Abe Lincoln says he's been using 40% IPA, 60% window lean mix to clean. Yeah, glass cleaners are quite good. If you tend to spray with Pledge floor care finish 2 times more shine clear, whatever you want to call it, pledge revive it. Then glass cleaner, ammonia-based glass cleaners are quite good to clean that out.
Yeah. That's one reason I don't put clear through my airbrush, because it's like varnish. You can't see it, so you don't know if you've got it all out.
Well, it is a varnish.
It is
But yeah.
bad.
I mean, I put it through my airbrush, but I do then clean the living crap out of it afterwards.
Yeah, it goes through my Chinese one.
Yeah, that's why I've got.
Yeah, I tend to use my Revolution for that if I can.
I mean, my airbrush cleaner, I just put a little bit of needle juice in there, and yeah, that's the job.
However, if you're in the UK, do not use window lean for getting rid of pledge, because window lean nowadays is vinegar based, not ammonia based. The old window lean was great because a tiny amount of ammonia breaks down pledge or clear, well, future, whatever you want to call it. But modern window lean is based on vinegar, and that does nothing at all. So.
Graham McRoberts says he can't get IPA. I couldn't get it. I can't get it in town. I actually got it off the shopping channel site that has a river of the same name. Yeah, that's where I got mine from. But that was before the world caught fire and everybody wanted it.
Yeah, it's you kind of have to end up getting it from industrial supply type places. Really.
Yeah, that's where I get mine from, because I've always have done, because I've been an ex-painter. I just use the same company, so I've got about 30 litres of it. So I've got more than enough.
You know, if you can't get IPA, the airbrush cleaning solutions are absolutely fine. That's what they're there for. They're designed for that, and they have some other beneficial chemicals in there. So yeah. But even if you're absolutely stuck, just the thinners you're using to thin your acrylic paints. If you're spraying with lacquers, then obviously you've got a solvent-safe airbrush. So just your lacquer thinners will be fine for that.
Ian M.G. Thompson says, if your airbrush isn't solvent-safe, can't it be modded by changing the seals? It's probably something you need to ask the manufacturer or the dealer whether it can be upgraded. But if it is just a case of changing the seals, probably I don't see why not.
Yeah, some of them is to do with the seals and whether the PTFE or not. Some of it is to do with the plating on the inside of the airbrush as well.
All depends as well whether the housing can accept the new seal size.
Yeah, but some airbrushes it's the coating on the inside that.
It's the nickel coating, isn't it? Can be
corroded.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see in the inside that cup there.
Oh yeah.
See how the nickel plating is coming off.
Yeah.
And you get that anyway over time.
Yeah, you get that in all of them, but that would be happening within your brush as well. So.
No, it's not the end of the world if that happens. You can still use your airbrush.
Oh yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just
looks horrible.
Just doesn't look as neat. That's all.
Ammonia in it, because otherwise it will just
Yeah, I think it affects the way the paint flows through as well, and it gives it a sticky surface or a rough surface.
Yeah.
One thing I find about the H&S, because it's such a nice brush, if it ever doesn't spray right, it just needs cleaning.
Yes.
That's all that goes wrong with it.
Going back to our original conversation, with good quality brushes, 99% of the time, if it's not working, it just needs cleaning.
Yes.
Whereas if you've got a crappy cheap brush that costs you 20 quid, 99% of the time, if it's not working, good luck trying to find out why it's not working.
Yeah, you're going to be there for a long time.
Yeah, and then the other thing, of course, is if you get a cheap airbrush, good luck trying to get spares.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, they're
I've got
not
quite a lot done
generic.
tonight.
Yeah, they're not generic fittings like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Look at how much I've done.
How much
You
have you
can't
done?
see it because it's tiny. I've done a lot. Look,
I'm impressed, Chris.
it's virtually all built.
I think
Why? It's because you've been sat there like a nun saying nothing.
Yeah, I have. I've been very, very quiet
Carrying
tonight.
you all night.
we all thought Chris had fallen asleep, but he's actually been just sat in the background.
I've just been doing stuff, yeah.
building-
It's amazing how quick you can build stuff when you don't have to use your words.
He's been a beavering away like a good one, mate.
We seem to have lost Foxx. He's just disappeared.
Oh, is he? Oh, bless him.
Oh,
Dave Corbin, Cardboard even.
He's come back.
fell out there. I panicked and thought I'd better be
Was saying to Ian, probably depends on the manufacturer. He's got some PTFE seal for his H&S to replace the original rubber ones. The alcohol ate them.
Yeah, the panic then. I wondered if it was just me.
You done a Ted?
Yeah, it was just you.
Did you do a
I
Ted?
pressed nothing. I touched nothing, pressed nothing.
Oh, I don't know. He just disappeared.
Yeah, he did a Ted.
What time is it anyway?
It's time to unpack it up. Look, I'm putting things away.
Yeah, there wasn't much point in you coming back because it's time to finish now.
Well, no, because I've got something to do, haven't I? I've got something to do.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yes, yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go over to Foxx.
Hang on, let me just sort out my screen share. We've got to press buttons now and try and break it first.
Oh, now he's got to press buttons. That's why he disappeared, because he got pre-button jitters.
Yes.
Right, are you ready? I shall add it.
Let me put my other I can't see my glass. I can't see with them glasses on. I've got my building glasses, not me looking at my telly glasses. Hang on. Right, I think I'm done now.
Right.
Do you want to say why we're going to share a screen?
I'm seeing Ted's legs. That's disturbing.
I can't get my head on camera. Hang about. I can get my head on camera if I do that.
Yeah.
I can do.
Yeah, I've just...
Hang on. I need to pull my string out then.
Oh dear, I did her a pair of idiots, you know. Look at it.
Hello.
Oh dear, you two just don't get.
All right, we're ready then. What's happening now?
Right, we'll now go across to Foxx at the news desk for some important breaking news.
Yes. It has been.
I shall press this button.
It has been a few weeks. It has been a lot of a few weeks. But with important announcement that we totally didn't make at the start of the show is that obviously from today, right now, eModels are basically back open for business as normal.
Hooray!
The storefront is open again. There are obviously certain social distancing measures in place, but you can now go along to the place and give James Mate all your money in exchange for plastic crack.
Or you can just stand in the car park and heckle like normal.
I'm actually doing a thumbs up to the microphone, which is not a camera. There's the camera. Yeah, so you can now go along to the store and pick stuff up and go in store. I can't remember exactly what the social distancing measures are. You may have to sit out in your car for 5 minutes until somebody tells you to come in. I don't know.
They're probably only allowing one customer in the shop at a time because they can't have more than 2 meters distance.
Queue outside, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if they have any mask requirements, but just take one anyway, just in case. You don't want to get all the way there and they say you need a mask and you go, oh. So you probably don't need one, but just take one anyway on the off chance if you've got a face covering. But yes, so they are back home for business. They are catching up with all the orders. Over the last sort of 11, 12 weeks, they've been absolutely biblically hammered because they've been one of the few stores up and running for normal orders. So they've had a real hell of a time over the last sort of 3 months. Probably not a bad business period, but there you go. Anyway, they're back to normal. They're catching up. And I said to James Mate today, are we doing a giveaway? And he said, give this away. So it looks like we're back to normal. We're doing a giveaway.
Yeah. Giveaway times. Giveaway times. Giveaway.
Ted, do us a song, mate. Do us a song.
It's a giveaway.
I was kind of thinking more eModels mug in its style, but no.
Yeah. You kind of put a lot of effort into that, mate.
It's a giveaway.
Maximum effort, minimum results.
Giveaway.
Hang on, you're getting a bit into like Radio 1 territory there, and that's not good. Anyway, yes, we're doing a giveaway. So we're giving away the IBG Models 172nd Scammell Pioneer SV2S Heavy Breakdown Tractor. This is what we are giving away. Ted, talk about it. It's a truck.
It's a Scammell Pioneer, used primarily by the military in the Second World War. They were around about quite a bit before the Second World War, but I can't remember the company name. I know they were Scammell, but they were developed as an all-rounder. It's got fully independent suspension, not the kit, but the real thing is, and they were quite sought after the war by heavy haulage breakdown companies, and particularly they were used a lot in fairgrounds as well. So you could paint this in some really garish fairground type colours.
Aren't all tractors heavy?
Yeah, heavy tractor. Yeah.
Did you write all that into a text file during the show or before the show, so you had something to say?
He's really good, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think there was some research going on there, I think.
Osric says, I've seen reviews of that kit. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
You could have some fun with that, couldn't you? With the ye olde font.
can Warhammer it.
I'm not sure of the makeup of the kit, but it can articulated suspension. That's it. Each sort of wheel can be independent of the structure. So you can put in some real weird sort of contorted sort of shapes going over rocks and things like that. So, but
And let's not forget, of course, if you cover it completely in storm bolters, it's a Deathcore Krieg truck. Warhammer it, you'll be more than happy.
I'm sure you could Warhammer it.
Yeah. So we're giving this away. Lovely little bit of fun for a weekend build there. I don't think the Cornfield and Doughboy are included, but there you go. Hey, I'm assuming it's a Doughboy, not a British soldier, because it's an American truck or an American livery on it. But yes, we're giving that away.
It's a British truck.
It's got a big white star on the door.
Yeah, that's the Invasion Star.
Invasion Star. I thought that was the American nonsense that they put on trucks.
D-Day, you'll find everything had Invasion Stars on it.
Really?
Yeah, the
British
American
stuff.
star was the one with the circle round it, wasn't it?
I didn't know that. I thought it was all white stripes for D-Day.
Yeah, as you saw, with D-Day, all the aircraft had the black and white bands put on them.
Yeah.
All the military vehicles, all the Allies had white stars on them.
Is that because they couldn't get any stripes on the wings on the trucks because there's no wings?
Yeah, they were just too
that
lazy.
must be it.
They couldn't find the wings.
Paul Lyons is saying Ted is correct.
I didn't know that. I learned a thing in my brain today.
Yeah, see, every week on eModels, you learn.
Yeah, you learn a thing in your brain every
I've forgotten it already.
Not only with Festa's factoids, but you've had Ted teachings as well now.
I go, that makes me worry about what my alliteration would be. Fox's.
Mistakes.
I'm like you, Fox. I used to think it was an American star as well, but no, it's an Invasion Star.
Yeah. Anyway, we're giving this away. And what do you have to do to win this? Well, you know what we need to do. If you've never seen the show before, once this stream has finished in about the next few minutes, it will just become a normal YouTube video on the eModels channel. So don't put anything in chat now. But when the stream is finished, give it a couple of minutes for the stream to upload as a video. Go and find it. It'll be on the front page of the eModels YouTube channel. It'll be the latest video. And simply add a comment to this show when it's a regular video. But we're going to want you to do a specific thing. So if you want to enter to win this next week, you need to put a comment about... What do you reckon?
Tractors.
Stars.
Stars? Comment about stars?
Space.
Space. We've had tractors, stars, and space.
Tractors. Tractors, stars, and space. Yeah.
Space tractors.
Farms, astrology, or space. Jokes about.
So space tractors. Yeah, so basically just put a comment. Let's just widen it.
Just give us your best joke.
Yeah, give family friendly there. Remember, we do have to. We may read these out, so make sure they're family friendly. Nothing blue for the dads. It's a family show. So yeah, just do a comment about farms or stars or space tractors or something. Just put a comment on there. And what we'll do is next week, next Monday, assuming we can get it all to work, we will pull a comment at random using the random comment picker, and that person will win that kit.
Absolutely.
Gratis and free of charge.
Actually, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Good luck.
So get your comments on this once the video is finished. Don't forget, like I say, of course, if you're local to eModels, their counter is now open.
But it's not now.
Not right now at this moment, but yeah, they now are open as normal. Your orders are open as normal. And don't forget, of course, they do have the new points scheme as well. As you can see, this kit itself would give you 13 points if you were to order it. If you're not familiar with the points, even though we've been shouting about it for the last couple of weeks, every time you order something, that item will give you a certain amount of points. The points build up on your account, specific to your account. How many is on that account there? I've got no e-reward points on that one because I'm on the test account. It had 100,000 points last week. God damn it. I was hoping to snag some free stuff. Thanks, Pete. Then again, I don't live at Test House, Testerton Street in Testingville, so there you go. Every time you order something, you accrue points, and you can either apply them there and then, or you can apply them the next day to your next order, or you can build them up and accrue them and cobble together a big amount of points that you can then put towards a model. And you can use, if you've got enough points, you can get an entire model for free. So, and pay for the shipping and everything else. And you can order anything using your points as long as you've got enough points. So there you go.
Happy days.
Yeah, so get ordering, get earning points. And what do points make?
Prize
Models.
such enthusiasm. And
Discount.
there you go. That's that. So I shall stop showing. So yeah, get a comment on this show when it's a normal video about 5-10 minutes after the end of the show.
Yeah, good
What
luck.
have you
with
got to lose?
Yes. If you don't enter, you don't win.
Yeah.
Got to be in it to win it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you can't turn your nose up at free stuff. Only a fool
Absolutely.
turns free stuff away.
Right. Yeah,
I
so-
don't like kiwi fruit, but I'll still take them if they're free.
Yeah. Dave
Yeah.
Cardboard said it's Green Shield stamps, but without the licking and the sticking.
God, I remember green shield
Green
stamps.
Shield stamps. And it used to go down with a big book like that, wouldn't it? And you'd come out of a biro.
Yeah, there's definitely no licking at the moment.
Yeah. Don't be doing the licking. Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Beck Storm says, "Welcome back, eModels."
Your mum and dad used to go to Tesco and come back with a huge bundle of Green Shield stamps and give you the
Oh, yeah.
stick them in there.
Beck Storm says, "Foxx the Southerner and Chris the Northerner," but I don't know why.
I think because I was above you on the stream.
Forgetting Ted and Colin completely there.
Oh, well.
Well, yeah, it's evenly matched now, isn't it? 2 Northerners and 2 Southerners. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Tony does eventually join us, that'll knacker you Southerners.
yeah, I know. We'll have to start finding friends, won't we?
Yeah. Dave Cardboard says, "Does it come with any spatulas?" Why? Yeah. If anybody doesn't know, my friend Paul last week bought me something on Amazon, and I opened this package, and it was a package full of spatulas.
Yeah, we may have started something there, mate, eh?
Yeah.
Paul Lyons says, do you remember SO points? 1 million would get you a tumbler.
In fact, I do, because if you watch the announcement video for these points, I actually made specific reference, and I do apologise for that. I was trying to do a Stoke accent, and I studied Sheffield by mistake, and it went wrong. Anyway, if you watch the announcement video, which has not got a Stoke accent, I actually mentioned it doesn't get you a set of crappy shot glasses, specifically for that.
Well, that was it. By the time you'd saved up enough points, they'd changed the style of the tumblers anyway, so you never got a full set.
And apparently they used to just shatter when you washed them. So.
Yeah,
I
they
drove
went
all
all out with them.
Anyway,
I
it's
apologise for the voice on that video. It went wrong horribly.
anyway, it's now 22:11. It's well past our bedtime, and
Yes.
we
I
need
need a
to,
great big wee.
yeah, we need to escape before the witching hour, and before we melt in this tremendous heat in the loft. But that's it. Don't forget, there's the giveaway. So go and wait until the video renders, and you can apply your silliness to the video. But in the meantime, we'll leave you with that, and we'll see you all next week. Well, thanks for coming along. Hope it's been a little bit different and a bit informative, and we'll figure out something else for us to do for you for next week. So
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah,
Take care, folks. Good luck with the competition.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Bye.
Adios, amigos.
Competition. Right, Chris, press the button. Maybe,
Now?
yeah, I'm
I'll press it in a minute. About now.
About now.
All right. Bye.
scared.